Brett, thank you so much for joining us. The first thing I want to ask you is where are you joining us from?
Yeah, Orange County. Actually, I'm literally sitting in a blank office. Actually, our new space. We've just taken the lease over of a new property in Costa Mesa, so we're excited for a new move.
So you've been with Nitro Circus since I think I can say the beginning. But at the beginning of this year, you all had a lot of exciting news. You all merged with Street League Skateboarding, acquired Rob Dyrdek's production company, and I imagine had a lot of really big plans for the first half of the year, including helping to run an Olympics qualifying event. Then I imagine when the pandemic hit, COVID changed a lot of those plans. I'd love to know what some of those plans were. Maybe tell us a little bit about that merger and what your plans were and how the pandemic did shift how you saw the first 6 months of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot more people that were in sort of worse situations than us, but after sort of closing the transaction with Thrill One back in January, we were excited for a huge year. We actually had 4 Olympic qualifiers with Street League Skateboarding, the Nitro World Games in Wales, which was the first time we're going to take the Nitro World Games outside the US, and a pretty ambitious plan on the Nitro Rallycross side of things. So, not to mention we were mid-tour in Australia at the time when the pandemic shut everything down. So it was quite an interesting period, for the business, and that sort of followed. Originally we were meant to kick off the SLS qualifying circuit in Melbourne in Australia, and had to postpone and cancel that event due to the bushfires. So when you put all those things together, it was an interesting start of the year. But since then, I think it's been a really good period to sort of pivot. We've got creative as a company and shifted our focus to what was really the core of the business on a Nitro side of things in the past, being a content and media company, and then also adding Super Jacket sort of supercharged that side of the business as well. So it's not been the easiest period from a live events point of view, but we've got the beauty and in some respects the blessing of the Thrill One sort of merger of the properties, that we're now a fully fledged media property, and we've been going from strength to strength.
So if we start off by breaking them up into the 3 individual companies, I'd love if you could give us a bit of an update on Street League Skateboarding. And you mentioned being a company that was forced to get creative and really pivot your goals for the year. Can you give us a quick update on Street League and what you all have going on right now?
Yeah, Street League's a property that we're all excited about as Thrill One. It's the biggest sport skateboarding league in the industry. They've done a great job over a number of years, sort of way back when Rob kicked that off, and progressing through now to skateboarding being the Olympics. So it's a property we're keen about. Coming from the Nitro side of the business, skateboarding was I guess the vertical or the discipline in our family that was probably the weakest of the lot as well. So really nice complement to what we already had in the business. But we're excited for where it's going. I mean, we're very close to confirming our schedule for 2021. Leading into Tokyo. That's an exciting sort of period for skateboarding, and yes, we're delayed by a year, but I think in some respects our calendar for 2021 will be even more exciting than what we had planned for 2020. Some big things there on that side. And again on the SLS side, putting all these businesses together, we've been able to to really focus on the content side of things, and get creative. There's one thing about the skate audience is there's a really sort of good groundswell of creativity amongst the audience, and we saw right at the start of the pandemic we launched Skate Inside, and the creativity of both pros and amateurs putting together really high quality creative videos was fantastic, and we saw the engagement rates go through the roof. And just this last few weeks, we've launched Trick of the Year, which again allows pros and amateurs alike to submit their videos for the Trick of the Year contest. And the engagement rates from a media point of view, our audience growth has been phenomenal over the period. So a good property to add into the family.
So I'd love for you to do a quick summary of what's going on with Super Jacket as well. I mean, like you said, you all just signed the documents, and then the pandemic also shuts down Hollywood, not just the event side of things. So what do you have going on in the works with Super Jacket that you're excited about?
Yes, Super Jacket. I mean, to be honest, is probably the biggest sort of blessing, sort of silver lining to the pandemic, because their ability to produce high volume of content. Most people probably wouldn't be aware, but Super Jacket, or ridiculousness in itself, is responsible for 50% of MTV's gross rating points a year. You only got to turn on the channel guide each weekend and look at MTV, and ridiculousness dominates the programming. So not only do they have a lot of content in the bank there, which was able to get us through the pandemic, the Super Jacket team did a great job, and we're actually, probably, if not the first, one of the first, studios back in Hollywood working, with safety protocols in place, and they're now charging, huge numbers of episodes per week, for the ridiculousness franchise to grow out throughout the year. And they're also rolling out some additional franchises under the NIS property. So there's some exciting things coming down the line on that side. And they also had the Dude Perfect documentary, which was a partnership with YouTube, which launched in a couple of months back, and a huge success. I mean, the Dude Perfect franchise and brand is obviously well known amongst the youth audience, and they produced a world-class documentary that really sort of showcased the lives behind these guys that run the Dude Perfect program and business, and that's been a huge success, and looking to do more in that space with Super Jacket as well.
So last but not least, Nitro Circus. Nitro, for all intents and purposes, was started by Travis Pastrana and his really passionate, talented group of friends. So I'd love to know what you all have in the works with Travis that you can talk about right now that you're excited about in the coming months and year.
Yeah, I mean, our touring business obviously is on a pause at the moment, and whilst we'd love to get back to touring as soon as we can and live events, we need to do that safely. So we've had to be creative. I mean, literally this weekend we kick off with a Walmart tour where we're actually doing drive-in BMX shows in the parking lots of Walmarts around the country. We're going to do 20 markets there. So one, it's great for our athletes. B, it's great for the brand. On the Travis front, we're deep in Nitro Rallycross. It's a property that we got involved in, or a sport that we sort of got involved in a couple of years back now, with a one-time event per year, and that's going to really supercharge in next year. 5 events in 2021, and then we'll roll out in 2022 the brand new electric vehicles, working with all the leading manufacturers and designing epic tracks right around the world. And it's Travis' passion point at the moment. He's really enjoying his racing, and he really believes in where this sport can go. So with Travis, it's always a case of trying to rein in the ideas and make sure that we can execute on them. But his vision for that sport, along with what we think we can achieve, both commercially and from a fan engagement point of view, and just from an entertainment point of view, is huge. And Travis is investing a huge amount of money building his own track in Maryland, which will be a mecca for action sports and motor racing. So we're excited. I mean, we've kept him busy. And then we're just trying to keep our athletes busy and keep the content flowing. We work with Tim Reed and the guys at ESPN and produced the Pit Bike Championships a couple of weeks back, and 22 guys and girls on pit bikes, kids 110cc pit bikes, and had them ripping around a track in Travis's backyard. Mind you, the best probably motocross track built, at least for pit bikes for sure. And that's been a huge success, rated really well on ESPN, huge groundswell support. And we're looking to roll out probably, another couple of events here in the near future under the Backyard Series name, and work with ESPN again on some exciting new projects.
We've talked to a lot of athletes about what it's like to be an athlete in 2020. But you all are in an interesting category that you put on events, you put on contests, but you're also a sponsor for a lot of the athletes that participate. What is the sponsor model like in 2020? What is it like to work with athletes at a time when they can't be representing Nitro Circus at contests and in events?
Yeah, to be honest, it's hard. The athletes, for the most part, rely on live events. They rely on their competitions, both for prize money, but also to promote their sponsors. and we're trying to work with them on content opportunities in the media space. We've launched the Athlete Content Network, where we're funding athletes to produce their content and and edits for our platform, and we've seen great traction on that. So that which is great to see, and we want our athletes to be content creators at heart. So that's been attractive and successful for us as a business. As I said before, we're rolling out these drive-in tours in Walmart parking lots. It doesn't give everyone an opportunity to perform, but we're doing what we can in the circumstances. And then we've signed some exciting deals that will be announced shortly on our touring business and some major events. We announced Nitro World Games in Brisbane for 2021 just 2 weeks back. And our touring business will return, bigger and better next year. I mean, we're planning a huge schedule of events, which is to, satisfy the pent-up demand for fans out there to come and watch our show, but also to provide an opportunity for our athletes to earn some money and also, showcase their skills. I think they've all had enough of riding in their own compounds and backyards and skate parks, and now it's time to go and put them on show and let the fans, see them in action.
In the past 6 months, in this moment of sort of pause and reflection, and like you said, an ability to look at your company differently and really pivot, one of the things, one of the biggest assets at a lot of companies is creativity, fearlessness, being able to think differently. And certainly these are, you're in charge of brands that are defined by these characteristics, right? How important and how much have you leaned on the people at your company who are these incredibly creative, fearless minds who know how to adapt, right? It's sort of the basis of action sports, right? How valuable has that been as an asset over the past 6 months?
I've got to be honest and say that through this last sort of 6 months through the pandemic, it's probably been the biggest takeaway for me, and the most exciting and encouraging thing from a business is just how everyone has rallied together. And we give everyone an opportunity to put content and concepts on the table. And from our most junior staff to our senior executives, to the athletes, and we're fielding inquiries from people outside the business. It's just been a really good period to sit back and see everyone sort of contribute to ideas and think outside the box. And we have an approach here where there is no bad ideas, and we're probably taking on more bad ideas than anyone in the world in this space. But that's very much our approach, and everyone's got a blank canvas and a license to sort of be creative, come to the team with ideas, and that's where things like the pit bike series came from. We've done a lot of iRacing, rallycross, where we've had star car events, and we've invited general public to compete against our athletes and race the Nitro star cars in those races. So it's been that's been the really encouraging piece to me, both from a short-term point of view, but also going forward. I think some of the ideas that have come up may not have worked for whatever reasons, be that sort of from a safety point of view or from a timing point of view just now. But those ideas, going forward, can be really creative opportunities that we can exploit for years to come. So that's exciting, and I think it was a good time as well, to bring all the different properties together and all the employees from effectively 3 brands to sort of work together on opportunities, and that's been really encouraging.
Right, like this space has offered you this opportunity. If you were just going from event to event to event to tour to tour to tour, you're not able to sort of think in this way that you're thinking now, right? Are there a couple of things that have come out at any of the brands of the past few months that you're like, oh, I love this, I want to see this continue, and we never would have thought of this idea never would have gotten thrown onto the table had we been just charging from event to event?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been the whether that's great timing or opportune, I don't think you can ever say that about a pandemic, but it really has given us, just 2 or 3 months after the transaction was completed and the merger of all the properties, we've now had this period where we're not doing live events, we're not traveling the globe, and our teams can all sit together and get their head above water for 5 minutes and think about what we need to be doing short term to get through the period, but also longer term, what does our business look like? And I guess the mantra of Thrill One was to bring together best in class sort of action and thrill based sports properties, entertainment properties. And that's allowed us to look at that business. How do we centralize those services? And I think truth be told, had it not been for this period, we'd probably still running the businesses somewhat independently under the one, through one banner. But now we've really been able to adopt our initial plan, which was to have a centralized service across the business, and it really is now sort of like this one through one approach. Everything from marketing to creative to media is all centralized under the one roof, and that's been exciting. It's already leading to, we've probably got 2 or 3 big media projects in the works right now that a combination between like the Nitro business and the Super Jacket business. I think the operational efficiencies on the existing Nitro production team and the SLS property as well is going to be a great benefit to the sport and the industry going forward. And then also, the best thing I think to me is just being able to put together those properties in one collective group. I mean, we're now looking at 50 live events per year around the globe between all the properties. 38 million social media followers. It's very hard to achieve that scale, from the ground up these days. So that's been a big benefit, and I think we'll see the fruits of that down the path as well, which is exciting. And as I said, there's some big things coming on the SLS schedule. A couple of exciting partnerships that we'll announce shortly as well that have come out of this period. Nitro Rallycross is an exciting period for us as well, and new initiative. And then, as I said, Nitro World Games has been unveiled to the world in Brisbane for 2021, which is exciting given we had to cancel the event in the United Kingdom this year. So we're excited, and out of this period as well, we've created new partnerships with brands, which has been encouraging. When most brands have been retracting, we've probably introduced probably another 12 to 15 brands into the family, which we wouldn't otherwise, I think, have had the opportunity to pitch the portfolio to. So that's exciting, and we're keen to announce some exciting partnerships in the coming months.
Yeah, it's interesting. You sort of get out of your corners, out of your silos, and all we're able to take the moment and come together and work together at the, I guess, virtual table at the moment. But the last thing I wanted to ask you about before we go is each of your brands, and especially Nitro Circus and Super Jacket, some of Rob's shows, have an incredibly engaged fan base. I mean, you have a huge following on social media, whether that's the companies themselves or the athletes, the Travises and Robs of the world. How important has it been, and how have you kept those fans, those really passionate fans, engaged with your brand at a time when you can't be out there in person, putting on a show and being on a microphone and doing autograph signings and all the things that really make Nitro, especially Nitro?
Yeah, I mean, we've, as I mentioned before, we've got the benefit, I think, of being a media company at heart. The Nitro brand started as a content production company, way back when Travis wanted to, base jump into the Grand Canyon. I mean, that's where the brand was founded. So, we still, those roots are, are very important to us, and we've built a very engaged audience on the back of our content as much as the live entertainment, which came later down the path. So we've gravitated back to the content side. I mentioned SLS has done a phenomenal job engaging their audience. I think the big sort of evolution has been the introduction, or the shift in some respects on the business to more user generated content, which is giving our fans an opportunity to participate on our platforms. On the Nitro side, we launched Daredevil Nation at the beginning of the pandemic, and it gives opportunity for any action sports star. I mean, we've seen kids as young as 6 and 7 submit videos that have outperformed Travis Pastrana videos. We've seen just last week over 1 million views on Instagram for a guy who's doing a bunch of truthfully quite insane sort of mini trampoline stunts off cliff faces into water and things. But I think it's been great to sort of engage a fan base that they've got an equal platform, and it's very much the ethos of our brand is anyone and any person in the thrill-based entertainment business, this is that sort of central touch point at Thrill One, and be that through Nitro Circus, SLS, or even through appearing in one of those videos on a Ridiculousness episode. That's how we're trying to engage our fans, and the content piece has been phenomenal. We're lucky to have great relationships with Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. We work with those guys very regularly on curating that content. and the engagement rates over the last 6 months have been through the roof, and fan growth and audience growth has been phenomenal. So we're excited because that just sets us up for the next phase when we can go back to live events, that we want to transition those fans that have either been with the brand for a long time and are further engaged, or new fans to then come along and see our events live in person.
Well, I know we're all hungry for content and entertainment, and I know personally I can't wait to be able to come back to a Nitro Circus show and see you guys in live once again. But until then, thank you so much for taking the time. Is there anything you want to tell people before we go who are fans of any of the brands, where they can check out, where they can find Thrill One, get more information on all the cool stuff you guys have going on?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say we're a socially first led company, so all of our social platforms are the best place to engage with the brand. We've launched some Thrill One social platforms, which are more of a corporate platform, but encourage people to sort of check out all the content that's on our Street League skateboarding channels, our Nitro Circus channels, and what we're introducing with Nitro Rallycross. And I think that's going to be an exciting property that really sort of is a game changer in the motorsport space. So yeah, I mean, encourage everyone to tune in and switch on to MTV as well. And I guarantee you'll see a ridiculous episode within half an hour. So it's been enjoyable. I appreciate the time.
Brett, thanks so much. We'll see you on TikTok.
Yes. Thank you.